I just can't feel my intestines. Hi guys, it's Maggie, and today we're gonna talk about what it feels like to have an ostomy. I get that question quite a bit, so I thought I would talk about my personal experiences and what it actually physically feels like to have a stoma, a piece of intestine hanging out of your stomach. But first I wanted to mention that I am trying to broaden my horizons with social media. So I have included, or I've kind of gotten back onto Twitter, and I've added Snapchat, and I have Instagram, Facebook, I have my website, LetsTalkIBD.com. I don't know, whatever social media is out there, I've gotten most of them, so if you search Let's Talk IBD without the apostrophe, you'll probably find me. I've been having quite a bit of fun on Snapchat because Snapchat is one of those things that I use pretty regularly. In fact, I use it more than I text because that's how I communicate with people. And I've been enjoying chatting with some of you guys on Snapchat, and thank you for adding me. It's so much fun. I love doing the filters and making myself look ridiculous and sending pictures to people at 3 a.m. A lot of you guys will probably get pictures of me at work in the middle of the night. That'll be fun, right? Just kidding. But if you guys want to add me on any of that, it would be a lot of fun and we can be friends. Alright, let's get into the purpose of this video. I already filmed this once, not realizing that I forgot to turn my microphone on, so when I went to upload it on my computer, there was no sound. So let's see if Maggie can do it right for once. So let's talk about what it feels like to have an ostomy. Not much. One thing that people find surprising about ostomies, and more particularly stomas, is that intestine and stomas don't have any nerve endings, therefore you can't feel them. If I were to touch my stoma right now, I wouldn't feel it, which never made sense to me because why would I have so much pain with Crohn's disease if I don't have any nerves in my intestines? If any of you can answer that for me, please do, because I don't get it. But I have felt my own stoma, I've poked it, doesn't hurt it or anything, it just doesn't feel like anything. In fact, I have encouraged friends and Zach and people just to, if they wanted to, touch my stoma through my bag so they could kind of feel what it feels like. Stomas, to me, you guys might think I'm a little bit crazy, they feel like those little, you're really gonna think I'm crazy, those little hands that they're like sticky and you throw them at the wall and they stick to the wall, they're kind of gooey. That's what a stoma feels like, maybe if you were to wet it, like get a little bit of water on there. I'll put a picture of what I'm talking about right here because I feel like I sound like a crazy person, but that's kind of what they feel like to me. They're very mushy, squishy, like wet, I don't know, it's intestine. I mean, what else do you think it's gonna feel like? Now, I can feel when I have air or output go through my stoma into my bag. I do feel that, and I guess it's because the pressure of like the expanding intestine against my skin, I guess that's how I feel it. And I'll feel like rumbling in my stomach just like any other person would, and I have kind of identified where the rumbling is, that like where the, what am I trying to say? Where the rumbling occurs, like the spot that it occurs right before it comes out into the bag. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. So that's the best I can explain it. But basically I can feel just before anything comes out, before the stoma makes noise, I can feel it. So I often will, it's kind of like a reflex, this is what I always do, but I always cover my stomach like this. I just hold it. I hold my stoma, I'll sometimes go like this, or I just hold my stoma, and I get asked all the time by people who know or they don't know that I have an ostomy. They ask me if I'm feeling okay. Do I feel sick? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. And actually just a few weeks ago I was asked if I was pregnant when I was doing that, and I was like, this is too long of an explanation for me to like explain that I'm not pregnant. So I just was like, no, I'm not, thanks for questioning me. But I cover my stomach because I know that my ostomy is gonna make noise, and that's why I hold my stomach all the time. People think that I'm so sick, and I'm like, no, I really just don't want my stoma to be super loud. It's awkward. Yeah. Now, what about the bag? Can you feel the bag itself? So yes and no. It totally depends on what bag you use and if it's just a good fit for you. Another thing that I like about the bags I use now, particularly the wafer, because it's so small, it flexes with my body really well to the point where I don't feel a bag on my side. The only time that I feel a bag is if my bag gets heavy, like it gets too full and it starts tugging at my skin. That's why it's very important to consistently empty your bag. That's one of the reasons you'll feel the bag. It's pulling on your skin, and that's never good. It'll make the bag leak, and you don't want that. You want to really extend the life of your bag. That's one time that I'll feel it. You'll also feel the skin around your stoma. It's called peristomal skin. If you are having skin irritation or if it's leaking. You'll get to kind of know the feeling of when it's leaking. You'll feel the adhesive sort of lift off of your skin. That's a good indicator that the bag has just recently started leaking and that you should probably, you know, head it off at the pass and just change the bag. Rather than letting it get to skin irritation point where you start feeling itchy and you have pain, then we know that the skin damage has already been done and now you're going to have to heal. So you need to change your bag. Those are the two times that you'll really feel your ostomy or your skin around your ostomy. And it's really important to avoid that as best as you can because skin irritation can lead to much worse infections that you just don't want to deal with. You don't want to wind up back in the hospital, especially after you just spent however long getting your ostomy there. Just avoid it. Stoma nurses, surgeons, all of them can help you with ideas on how to heal your skin better. There are prescription creams and powders, and then there's over-the-counter powders and all of that that you can use to help heal your skin. This is gonna sound weird, but I am very aware of my ostomy, but I'm also very unaware of it. Let me explain myself, because I again sound crazy. So I am very aware of my ostomy because I am so used to everything that it does. So I'm aware of it when it gets full. I know, when it's gonna get full before it's even there, just because I know what my belly feels like when it's gonna start having output. I'm aware of it leaking. I just have become so attuned to the feeling, so much so that I am able to adjust my position and wake myself up when I'm asleep. If my bag is really full and I'm sleeping, I will adjust myself onto my side, the side that my ostomy is on, so that my bed can assist in holding my heavy bag. So it's not pulling away from my skin at all. It's like supporting it. And then if my bag is pretty empty, I will sleep on my back just because that's the most comfortable position to me. I am also very attuned to it leaking at night. Like when I'm asleep, I will feel a leak on the very first drop down my side and I always wake up instantly. I have except when I first got it and was like adjusting to all this, but I very rarely have ruined sheets or ruined bedding because of my bag leaking. I tend to catch it before it ever hits the bed, which is awesome. And I think that many of you will probably find that to be true for yourselves as well. Let me know if you feel that way too. Like you know it's gonna leak before it even leaks. So I tend to avoid leaks almost always. I probably have 5 or 6 leaks a year. If that. I'm just very aware of the bag when it's active, when it's leaking, when it's getting full. I'm also very aware of it with my positioning. So if I'm doing something that's putting a lot of pressure on my stomach, I tend to be a lot more gentle on myself. In fact, when I sneeze, when I cough, when I do any of that, I will also hold my stomach because of the prolapses that I have seen at work. Oh my goodness. I mean, I haven't had any prolapses, knock on wood. I haven't had any prolapses in my ostomy career, and I've had my ostomy. It'll either be, let's see, 2009 to 2017, so it'll be eight years? Can Maggie do math? Probably not. I think it's 8 years, October 29th, I will have had my ostomy. And I don't think I'm gonna have a prolapse at this point, but you know, who knows? Who knows what can happen? So I'm very careful. I hold my stoma in if I sneeze. I look super weird, but I'm not risking that. No way. Now I also say that I'm very unaware of my ostomy. I think because I've become so used to it that when I have a brand new bag on with a great seal, my skin feels good, I'm feeling good, my bag is empty, I tend not to notice it. I tend to forget about it. So I just go about my normal day not worrying about it. It's when it starts to have a lot of activity or it gets full, that's when I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right, I have an ostomy. That's when I tend to notice, but I forget about it a lot, and it's wonderful because that's how it should be. You do get used to it, whether or not you guys believe me. If you're like heading into surgery soon or you just got it, you get used to it pretty darn quick. When you get your routine down, it happens. And you'll be surprised. Alright guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please share your thoughts about what an ostomy feels like to you in the comments below, because I'd love to see God, I'm hitting my lights here. I'd love to hear everybody else's perspective on their bags. It's very interesting to me just to see, do you feel it? Do you not feel it? What does it feel like? Yeah, and then if you guys want to add me on any of the social media websites, I'll put the ones that I'm part of below. There are so many. I feel like a little old lady. I'm just behind in the times. I don't know what's going on. But, you know, I'll put them below. I'll find them. You guys, if you want to add me, we'll be friends and it'll be great. So, I will talk to you guys soon. All right, bye.